Hello everyone, let's have a look at the upcoming week between the 25th and the 25th of November and the 1st of December. We're nearly at the end of the year. Hopefully by the end of this year I'll be able to record the videos for each sign and what it brings, what the 2025 will bring to us. So yes, you can still order the calendar, the yearly calendar that gives you all the information about any transits to your personal planet, so you can gain some sort of information about where you're heading. But most importantly, let's have a look at what the next week is bringing to us. We're starting the week with Mercury going retrograde. I will record a separate video about that because it will actually connect us a lot to 2025 and what it brings to us. Mercury is going retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius, whereas we're quite close to, well, it's obviously in the retrograde stage. We will be going through an energy of Mars going retrograde at the same time quite quickly. So like I said, I will record a separate video about that, but these are quite linked together. They are both in the fire sign, so we're starting the energy of where you go and what you want to do with your life. What are you thinking about? What is actually stopping you from moving forward? So we're starting off with Mercury going retrograde, rethinking our goals, maybe going back to certain things that we were planning to do. We might reconnect to people from the past. Yes, things do get broken. Yes, we do have to fix certain things. Yes, we do have to look at things yet again and probably correct our mistakes. And no, it's not the best time to do a lot of planning, and probably not the best time to start too many things at the same time. Why? With Sagittarius, we might be overwhelmed with the information that we get. There might be too much of everything, which is quite normal. So it's best to be safe than sorry. Some sort of delays, people cancelling, rescheduling is a very natural thing during that period. So let's have a look at where we're heading. With that, and then on Wednesday the Sun is making a trine with Mars. That gives us plenty of energy, positive attitude. We might gain some good information, something good might come out of the work that we do. We might feel extremely motivated to act on certain things that we were planning to do, and also support from male figures in our life can be quite influential for us during this week and quite motivating. We will be able to catch up on certain things. On top of that, we might feel like we are getting lucky. The closer we get to the weekend, we are gaining the momentum to the new moon in Sagittarius. The new moon is at 9th degrees of Sagittarius. So we have a very strong Sagittarian energy during this week. Like I said, a lot of fire going on, but at the same time, Mercury retrograde. Yes, we're going, but we're not really going, sort of like that sort of energy. So this is all about being strategic, because the new moon is with the star of Antares, and that brings us a lot of strategy on there. A lot of what do you want to do, where do you want to go, maybe what sort of dreams have you got, what sort of strategy have you got in place. If you wish for something, do wish, but put some sort of strategy behind it as well. At the same time, the new moon will be trining Mars, so that gives us plenty of motivation and a positive attitude and a will to fight, so that sort of warrior type of energy. But on top of that, we do have a square with Saturn, which slows us down, so we might have to rethink what we want to do. So let's say you might want to feel free. You might want to be acting on something very important for you. You might want to wish for freedom, but at the same time, yes, you're still a little bit restricted. You can't move there. Watch out for some sort of attacks or people being a little bit too abrupt during that day. Check your liver, check your joints during that day. Your right eye, there might be some sort of issues to your right eye on top of that. But it's also a time to think about where you need more courage. Where do you need to pull yourself together to actually get things done? Maybe something requires a lot more energy from you than you were thinking about. So so think about those things for all of the signs. Well, I'll have a look in a minute, so you'll be able to gain a bit of a clarity about where we're going. So for Aries, we've got the 9th house activated, so What are your wishes? Where do you want to go? A lot of, there might be some sort of legal stuff that you need to redo. You might want to reconnect from people from the past, maybe gurus. You might want to ask people from the past about certain advice. You might want to catch up on something or pay off something. You might regain legal money, or you might be dealing with something legal yet again that you've started a while ago. Maybe there is a case of redoing a project or redoing something that needed to be redone. Also, with the new moon, you might be starting a new project, you might be starting a new course, you might be starting a new teaching course, you might be working on something that will probably gain momentum around in about 6 months. So probably once Mars goes out of the retrograde phase, and once we've got a full moon in Sagittarius. So within the next 6 months, whatever you're working on, you will probably see those results in that time. So that it still requires a lot of work, a lot of influence in order to get that. But be strategic, think about it, and also a lot of marketing materials going on around that. For Taurus people, we've got Mercury going retrograde in your 8th house. So money. How do you get money? Mutual money. Maybe there is a case of how you're going to invest in a property. Maybe you're buying property together. Maybe you need to discuss how you manage money with your partner. Maybe you want to discuss how much you put into the pot and how much he puts in. There is a lot of intimacy issues as well. So you might be talking about a lot of trauma thing, or you might be dealing with a lot of trauma that you've been holding on to. So if you've been holding grudge to something, you might have to relook at it. Somebody from the past can reappear yet again. For Geminis, this is all about reconnection. People from the past, your relationship, you're still looking at how much influence, how much interest do you put in other people, and how much interest do they put in you. Maybe you've been putting too much energy into them and they haven't been putting enough energy into you. Maybe you need to realize who is important, what sort of people have you got. Other people are quite important during that period. You might be reconnecting with friends, or you might be getting on better with certain people in your life that you haven't spoken to in a while. A lot better about thinking about school. Maybe you want to relook at certain projects that you've been dealing with. Also, you might sign a contract, something to do with work, or you might go back to your old workplace, or you might run into people from your old workplace. For Cancer, this is all about your daily routine. Maybe you want to sign up for a training course. Maybe you want to train. Maybe there are some sort of new responsibilities at work. Maybe you need to look after somebody. Maybe you need to look after yourself health-wise. With 6th house, this is all about health and your responsibilities to the world. Maybe you feel that you have to be more responsible, or maybe you feel that you've got too much on your plate. This is the time to really relook at that. But also, you might be starting a business, and you might be working on a business or a project that you've been planning to, and you might be thinking about gaining more money. During midweek, you might actually gain some money through, and you might start working on a project a lot more. For Leos, this is all about you guys. What is giving you, what sort of creative ideas have you got? What is giving you that energy to thrive? Maybe there is something that you've been planning to do for a while. Maybe there is some sort of energy of ideas. You might be dealing more with children, young people, but also there might be a lot more to do with youth in general. So if you've got kids, maybe this is a time to relook at your relationship with your children. You might reconnect with your children, or you might have more fights with your children, but at the same time starting projects, starting new ideas. Maybe you might want to reconnect with somebody, but also don't be surprised if old flames can reconnect with you. So you might have somebody who was interested in you, being more into you yet again, or missing you a lot more. For Virgos, this is all about your home, about your businesses, anything that you've got at home. So you might be re-looking at that energy. Who do you live with? Where do you live? Maybe you want to move to a different place. Maybe you want to move to a different country. Maybe you have to move house. Maybe you have to move out of a place, or somebody moves in. You might be rethinking ideas. Maybe you are thinking about changing something in your home, or maybe somebody new is going to appear in your home within the next 6 months. So don't be surprised if somebody moves in or moves out. This is also the time to actually take action on any businesses that you've been thinking about. For Libra, this is all about how you think. how you learn. Maybe you don't know enough. Maybe you need to gain more clarity. Maybe you need to rethink your strategy or how you speak. You might reconnect with your siblings. You might go to places that you haven't been in for a while. You might be fixing some sort of communication issues. You might be buying a phone or fixing a phone, reconnecting to friends from the past, gaining that sort of momentum and clarity on where you want to be. With the third house, this is all about starting a new relationship with someone, like a friend, or you might have a new neighbor moving in, and you might be connecting to that person, or you might be reconnecting, or something might be changing in your sibling's life. For Scorpio, this is all about money. This is all about how you value yourself. Why do you value yourself? Where do you gain the money? Maybe you are thinking about new work, new business. Maybe you are thinking about working on a new project. Maybe you are planning to expand something. Maybe you want to gain additional income. Somebody from the past might reconnect in regards to work. You might be working on a project, a new project, or you might be working more on your body as well. So you might be, with the 10th house, this is all about moving forward, moving further, and it's all about how you are being perceived by others. For Sagittarius, this is a very important time for you. Not only have you got Mercury retrograde, but also you've got a new moon in Sagittarius. So this is a time when you have to think about where you want to be in 6 months. Maybe you want to rethink your options that you've been thinking about in a while, in the past. Maybe you want to reconnect to people from the past. Maybe you want to work on something that you haven't been working for in a while. Maybe you are rethinking your strategy, or maybe you are rethinking your attitude. What actually makes you happy? What is it that you hope for? Where do you want to see yourself? These are the questions that you might need to ask. You might go back to something. You might think about studying, or you might reconnect from people from university or courses. You might also start new courses or start a new career, something that you might be discussing over this week or so. You might actually see the results in 6 months' time. So let's have a look at that. For Capricorns, this is a 12th house. So a 12th house is all about, what is it you're hiding? What are you working on in the background? Maybe you want to take a bit of an isolated period. Maybe you want to rethink your priorities. Maybe you want to rethink certain ideas in your life. Maybe you want to rethink where you want to be. Maybe you're planning some sort of investments or advertising campaigns. Maybe you are thinking about working on certain projects that you haven't been working on. Maybe you are thinking about a business that you've been planning to do, and finally you are working on that. With the new moon, again, you're probably going to see the results of that after May, or in May. So for now, this is all about working in the background, rethinking, readjusting, fixing certain strategy, and check your health, check your priorities as well. For Aquarius, this is all about 11th house. What are your dreams and hopes? Who is your tribe? Who are the people around you? Who do you want to be with? Who do you want to work with? What sort of people do you want to connect to? Maybe you are rethinking certain people in your life. You might be working with somebody from the past. You might be starting a project with somebody from the past. You might be starting something that you haven't been thinking about, or you might be working on projects from that will give you a lot of money in future. But for now, you're just reconnecting with them. With the 11th house, it's also about rethinking your priorities. Where do you see yourself in a couple of months or so? With the 11th house, remember, Virgo rules your 5th house. There might be some sort of things with, not Virgo, Geminis. So Mercury rules your 5th house. So there might be some sort of issues with your children as well, and health, and you might be fixing that for the better future. And for Pisces, this is all about your career, how you're being perceived, how people see you. Are you in a relationship or are you not? Are you an employee or are you unemployed? Are you working on a project or are you not working on a project? There might be changes to your career, changes to your relationship, changes to your daily habits. You might be fixing a lot of your daily habits over the period of next couple of months. You might be changing your looks a lot. by taking new paths. There might be some sort of issues with working places or where you are at the moment, just so that you can move on to something different in the future. I'd like to wish you a lovely week, and hopefully I'll speak to you soon.